And welcome out to another edition of Trade Masters presented by Tackle Trading. This is Coach Frank with Coach Matt here in Trade Masters. Two coaches, usually me and Matt, but two coaches will come together with two trade ideas, two setups to kind of kick around with one another, kick around with the team, just as we look to continue to build and enhance our midweek watch list. We always encourage you to let us know in the chat, whether you're here with us live or a little bit later down below. Let us know what your favorites were. Always great to bounce trade ideas around with other traders. Before we get down to business here, a couple of things. Number one, we are doing the Master Trader next week. This one, they're all special, but this one is extra special. Coach Matt typically teaches technical analysis on night one. This upcoming Monday and Tuesday, he's doing it night one and night two. You're getting an awful lot of education, an awful lot of charting, and going to have a heck of a lot of fun. I would wager as well in that Master Trader. It's free to all pro members. So make sure you sign up. If you're not yet a pro member, there's never a better time than today to hit that description. In the description, hit the free trial, sign up for 15 days, come see the Master Trader on Monday, Tuesday, come see the world's best newsletter, the Traders Report, the Coaches Show, hang out with us in Discord each and every market day. Best community, bar none, out there. Come on over and join us. Before we dive into it, Maddie, want to see how you're doing. But of course, I got to do the YouTube things first. So if you are new around here, welcome. Always helpful to hit the like, hit the share, hit the sub. You know, all of that fun stuff. We certainly appreciate it. Hopefully it helps other people find us as well. My man, Maddie, it feels like I had a big intro today, but I'm excited about that Master Trader. I know the rest of the team is excited about the two-night event as well, my friend.
Yeah, night one is always about trends, patterns, and support and resistance, understanding the set method, stop loss entry targeting. And, night two, we usually do a basic introduction on trading options because Master Trader is the foundational course that everybody takes at Tackle Trading to really kind of understand all the technical language and everything. We decided this month to do 2 days on technical analysis. And I was asked earlier in the lounge today, Matt, what are you going to teach on night two? And I'm like, ooh, that's a secret. You're gonna have to come to find out. But I'm going to tell you right now, Frankie, if you love technical analysis, you're going to love this 2 day
Oh,
course next
yes.
week on Master Trader. If you want to learn technical analysis, being able to read price action the way we do, come to Master Trader. It's going to be a good show. Look forward to seeing everybody there. And with that said, let's have some fun in Trade Masters today.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Before we get into our setups, Maddie, let's just do a quick backdrop of the
Yeah.
market because we have an interesting day coming into tomorrow, right?
We certainly do, and first and foremost, I think tomorrow is really it's the catalyst day of the week, right? It's the
Yep.
catalyst day of the week, and when you're talking about the market right now, a lot of people will look at the market and be like, "Oh, it's a little bit volatile, it's a little bit shaky, it's a little bit this, it's a little bit of that." And I think it just generally describes a lack of momentum environment. When you're talking about the market and where you can expect to see momentum, you're really looking at the market right now, and every single degree of index right now is inside pattern, Frankie. And where momentum lives is as you break patterns. And so you look at the Dow Jones, for example, we are just developing consolidation right underneath that all-time high breakout channel. When you look at the Nasdaq's had some good recovery, good pattern development, and had some shaky support tests last week. They passed those shaky support tests last week, and now you're back up into the breakout channel. And that, as you can see, this ascending triangle getting a little bit tight. You look at the Russell 2000. What's the Russell 2000 doing right now? Nothing but consolidating right underneath that 2400 breakout channel. And when you go to the ES, the bedrock of the market itself, when you're talking about the barometer of the market, that's the ES. This you just see as the one index that is now outside pattern, Frankie. And you saw it today on the intraday side of the equation. The market broke out yesterday, saw the continuation here today, but a lot of that was not what I would describe as actual price action in the market. What you saw was a lot of algorithm responses to the PPI report here today. and the market basically said, nope, we're not ready for prime time. We got the CPI report tomorrow. And so as we're going through the picks here later on, as we're navigating the market as a team at Tackle Trading, just realize we got good pattern development. The markets are primed for breakout analysis, and we got a catalyst tomorrow. That's the environment we're going into. Tomorrow's catalyst day. Let's see if we can get that breakout.
Yes, sir. You could sign me up. You had me at breakout. I appreciate the analysis, my friend. Well, let's talk some setups, bro.
Yeah.
You want to kick us off? Let's let you kick us off. I know who you're going with first. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on, sure on who you're going with second, but let's let
Well,
you kick it off.
yeah, last week, I had a couple picks last week. Sentinel one confirmed, and then it's been choppy ever since. Just inside development, still an ongoing situation there, Frankie. And when you're looking at some of those picks, and I know you had a couple picks from last week as well, all of them are kind of in progress to a certain extent. What I'm going with this week here, Frankie, my first pick is going to be Palantir. Now, most people at Tackle Trading know my infatuation with all things
It's a
Palantir.
long-running opinion.
One of the AI kings out there. They're not Nvidia, but they're really, really, really close. Currently, they're like on that cusp of the tier one, tier two status of the AI watch list, and obviously, they're one of the linchpins of the whole AI trade scenario. I want to talk a little bit about development here from a pattern perspective of just kind of answering the why Palantir out of a lot of other potential trades out there. Why do I like Palantir here? Well, there's a couple reasons here, Frankie, and they start with everything I'm going to talk about next Monday and Tuesday in Master Trader. But when you deal with bullish retracements, there's this concept that I feel is extremely, extremely important to understand, and that's how you navigate what I call the depth of the retracement. As the market starts pulling back into key levels of support, you're looking for certain things from a pattern perspective, you're looking for certain things from a confirmation perspective. And as you go into that deeper retracement that I identify at the 61% level on the Fibonacci pullback, as you go into that deeper retracement, you can't just expect simple confirmation. The problem with expecting simple confirmation is you run into your moving averages that are very momentum driven, like the 9 EMA, oftentimes like the 20 SMA. And so what you want to see in a deeper retracement on any stock, let alone Palantir, is you want to see short-term consolidation that allows these moving averages that are algorithm driven, especially that 9 EMA, to get underneath the price. And as you get underneath the price, the 9 EMA starts acting as a short-term support level. And you might not understand the importance of that on a day in, day out basis when you look at a daily candle, but it's extremely important on the intraday side of the equation as that analysis starts to turn the tide from an intraday trend. And what I've always said this about the marketplace, when you're talking about those great swing trades out there, you want the day traders to really kind of start creating that intraday trend. So day traders start pushing it, more day traders start pushing it, and now the swing traders come in, the investors like, oh, we got something here, and then all of a sudden it gets out there in social media, and everybody's like, do you see Palantir? And so you want to see that play out, and that's what we're seeing play out here. Now, I will say you got CPI tomorrow morning. Things are going to be sensitive, and so the price to entry, the price to might be a little bit different tomorrow than what we're talking about here today. But I am looking specifically at from an entry perspective as of right this second. I do believe it will change going into tomorrow during the trading session with the CPI report. But I do think you're looking at the high of the day as of right now. And if the CPI report comes out tomorrow and we're still talking about the high of today, that's going to be a really good situation. So entry, and that's how we're going to look at it. Stop loss placement here. This is kind of, to me, a swing trade. This is a swing trade to me. And so as a swing trader, I think you're looking at two different stop loss placements. I think you're looking at one, the official breakout channel of the consolidation, which is at 162.5. So, and that's kind of coincides with just the bar by bar play in it. So that would
Yeah.
be a very aggressive stop loss. You're not giving it very much room at all. The second stop loss, I think, and it's more the one I like, is underneath 160, where you're using the 9 EMA as your guide. Now, the 9 EMA is going to catch up pretty quickly. Third one is more to the swing to the position style, where a lot of people like to give it a little bit more room and let a stock like Palantir, which is sensitive to volatility, give it a little bit more room because you're doing a little bit more position style. And at that point, I think you're looking down around 155, which is underneath the cluster of every one of these moving averages, including the 50 period and the low point of this week. So there's dealer's choice there, depending on how aggressive you want to be from a stop loss. Now, on the targeting side of the equation, I don't think there's a tremendous amount of dealer's choice here. I think you have to target 190. It's a pivot point. It's a major pivot point. I think you have to target 190, and 190 is that. I wouldn't say it's the real target here, but I do think it's an actionable target. Above 190, Frankie, if the momentum continues, it's going to break 190, scream into 200, and we'll see what happens on the momentum side.
Right.
But 200 is a significant whole number, and so I do think 200 is going to be the secondary. Pure technical here, it would be more like 225. But just being the deeper retracement will do that, Frankie. Like, you can't be too aggressive on a secondary target above resistance when you're dealing with a deep bullish
Yeah.
retracement. And
You'd
so I do
expect
think 190
right.
by 200 makes a lot of sense. Strategic wise, I think you could go a lot of different things, but I do think this is direction. It's Palantir. You take the risk to direction, and for me, it's going to be a slide out of the money call option, and I'll probably wrap that into a call spread down the road a little bit.
Yeah, makes sense. I could totally
What's your
get
thoughts?
behind that. This was on my short list, which, by the way, I will, because I got about 15 names. Everybody kind of knows I'm a volume guy.
Yeah,
If you would like
trade
my
small, trade
scan,
often.
trade small, trade often, I will put my scan over in the Tackle Trading Discord in the new traders chat here when we're done today. So if you want to hit up the Tackle Discord, you can find the link in the description. If you aren't a member of the Discord,
I'll
I
add
will
my
set that
short
over
one
there.
too. I didn't do it. I didn't get as many as you did, but I got about 7 or 8 pretty quality technical setups.
Yeah,
So
you
I'll
had some
put
good.
that
There's
into
a
the
lot of
members
there was a lot
Discord
of
as well.
layover. I think you had at least half of the things you have
Yeah,
in,
every
including
time I
Palantir.
brought something up, Frank's like, "Yeah, I got that one too, Matt." I'm like, "Okay,
So
okay."
I'm a big fan of Palantir
What's
though,
your what's
and
your
I like
first
it.
one?
My first one, I was going to go with somebody that looked very similar, but I'm going to make the audible to my old friend Jeff, Jef Jeffries here.
So
Uh,
clean, bro. Talk to me.
it is really clean. And Jeff, if you would zoom out just a little bit in time, Jeff is on a tremendous turnaround story. And look what they've done here on that weekly over the past couple
He's
of weeks, where
consistent. Oh yeah.
finance it's held up, but it's been a little rocky in the financial space and really has had a hard time establishing momentum. We've really just held up after breaking the 200, sitting right on top of that 50 on that weekly time frame. Clean consolidation. Jeff, I know some of the long-term members of Tackle Trading have been involved with Jeff a time or two. They can absolutely go on tremendous trending runs, and so far
Consistent trends too.
they've been on one for a while, and they're giving us a secondary opportunity to get in here. So nothing too fancy here. I think we're just looking at the break and whether or not you need it to close above that level or just breach it by a certain amount. I'm going to
Dealer's
leave that
choice.
to traders' discretion, right? Some
Yeah.
people are going to be aggressive and want in right above the high. Some people are going to
There's
want the
no real
close.
wicks there. Like there's
No,
it's
it's
totally how you want to do it.
it's very clean. I do think, regardless of kind of where you sit in that regard, underneath this today's low, this being Wednesday, is a perfectly reasonable place for a stop loss, for a swing trade. That would, of course, get you the break, the 9 EMA, which is kind of right there, the intraday level of support. And I'm making an assumption here, but assuming this breaks tomorrow, it's also the low of the candle that led into the breakout, which to
Yes.
me, that puts a little more value on that low of that candle. You could jump down all the way to the low of the base if you were so inclined and wanted to position trade it. Because if you wanted to position trade it, I don't think it's crazy to try to work up toward those highs. How many of these mid-tier type of breakouts have we seen that ultimately the long-term
We got a real
conclusion?
good track record on mid-tier
Yeah, we do.
breakouts.
And this guy looks like it can get there. It just isn't probably getting there on a swing trade. So
I don't know about you,
position.
Frankie, but I would take a mid-tier breakout over or all-time high breakout right now.
Right now, yes, I would.
Not all
Yes,
the time, but right now.
not all the time, and not on all the names, but
Yeah.
just random, random
All
mid-tier
things
versus
being
random
relatively
all
equal.
time.
Right?
Yeah, right now I would agree with that. And I think Jeff is a prime candidate for that. I think you're targeting into the 70 level, for your first target, maybe into the 75, 74, 75 for that secondary swing target.
Mhm.
Again, if you wanted to look at this a little bit more position style, I think you could do that. Right. And but be prepared. It's gonna be a quarter, right? If that you're gonna be probably working with them if they do
You're
end up
you're not holding them for a couple weeks on that one.
not likely. I mean, I do think
Probably even
70
holding
is,
through earnings.
that's probably what it is. I think it's kind of one of those situations where pretty reasonable, I think, to assume it can get into the 70 level, which is going to be really
Yeah,
solid risk to reward, kind of underneath
that's
this
how I
Wednesday
do it.
low.
70 is a major pivot too.
It's a,
Like
and
it's
it's a
not
pivot. There was a little
small mistake.
price action from earnings. It opens up into about 75,
Yeah.
74 to 76 beyond that. And so I do think we can have that kind of as that secondary target in the back of our mind. But, the real target, as I often like to say, probably is that $70
I would
level,
agree with that.
showing relative strength, really clean resistance level. I love that the nine's been catching up during this consolidation. So now I get today's low. That's below the breakout channel. That's the 9 EMA. That's a nice combo platter for a stop loss, in my opinion. So just give me this little high base mid-tier breakout on the weekly time frame on old Jeff.
I like this one. This was there was a couple financial stocks that looked pretty good.
Yeah, there
Like
was.
pretty good. And we were talking about finance in the lounge today with the team, and I think all of us had the same opinion. Like it's been dirty, and it's been dirty because of last Friday's candle, how dirty that nasty
It
candle
really
was last
dirtied it up.
Friday. It just dirtied up the joint so bad. If you wanted to get cleaned up, the process of getting cleaned up is not more volatility. That's not the
That's not how it
process
works.
of cleaning
That's not
something
how it
up.
works. Yeah.
Like if your kitchen's dirty and you want to clean up your kitchen, you don't throw a tornado in there. You know what I mean? You methodically, slowly just clean your stinking kitchen.
Yeah.
Same process here. Volatility ensues. You want to see that volatility subside to see where the real damage is. And there was no real follow through damage here, right? There was no
Yeah.
follow through damage. And there was in some financial stocks, not all, but there was in some. But the process of getting cleaned up is now okay, inside low point, right? That's not exactly great development, which means you want to see that break back up. And it just so happens to be struggling at that same level of resistance that preceded the breakout last time. And so you break back up a 53, 40, 53 and a half. That gets you right back into the edge going into 54. That would look pretty good. So finance, I had a lot of concern over the weekend. We downgraded finance to tackle over the weekend in our newsletter, and which you definitely, if you're not reading that every single week,
You
you
should be reading it
get
every
that every
single
single
week.
week. But it hasn't done anything to further that analysis though. And I think that's a positive thing, especially if we can get back up above that 54 and a half. Team, you have two picks. You got to pick your favorite
Got to
one.
pick your poison.
Put it
Got to
there
pick your
into chat
poison.
if you don't mind in round
Yeah,
one.
let's see what
We
what
got the ultra aggressive Palantir trade, and like Palantir is one of the most aggressive stocks in the market. Like this is not for the faint of heart. If
no.
you've never traded Palantir, you should not use your first trade pop and call options on Palantir against a momentum volatile trend. Let me just put it out there like that. I like the reward to risk ratio here, and quite frankly, anytime Palantir sets up, Frank, I have a rule. so
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
and for
just one
good
of those
reason.
things. It's
It's
just
and
one
for
of
good
those things.
reason,
Like
right?
love this company, been playing around with it for a while, and just you set up, let's get you up and go. Or do you love Jeff? Jeff is a very clean mid-tier breakout. It's a walk on the beach type breakout analysis, targeting that 70 level. Very, very clean setup for how dirty Palantir can be. Jeff is extremely clean, I would say.
Jeff's usually
So
a pretty mellow fellow.
yeah. Well, and especially like when you look at the weekly charts here, Frankie,
Yeah.
like even on the uptrends, like even the
On the up and
downtrends,
down. Yeah.
it was the
Yeah, it was
same, right?
faster down, but it was
Oh
still
yeah.
very consistent, right?
Elevator
He's
up,
got a pretty consistent type of personality.
escalator up, elevator down, right?
Yeah,
That's what they
that's
say. That's what
yeah,
they say.
and that weekly chart on Jeff kind of is that in action.
Yeah.
So
So we got some votes for Palantir. Linda's like, I
Palantir,
like both my sons. Like, that's fine. Like,
we're
yeah,
good with both of them.
good.
We're good with Palantir.
Um,
Yeah,
Jeff, very mixed.
it's
All
close.
right.
It probably depends a lot on your
Of
personality.
course, Linda was going aggressive, Tanner. That's what Linda
Yeah.
does. That's why I love her. Like, Linda's one of the most aggressive. She's like, she reminds me of Coach Sylvia a lot, where if you ever have a chance to meet them, talk to them, they're just so amazing, beautiful people, just
For sure.
laid back. Like, you would never
You
think
would not think that
ultra
They were the
aggressive
YOLO bros,
traders,
but
right? But they are both YOLO
but
bros. Yeah, they are
they're
both
YOLO
YOLO.
bros.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Uh,
Absolutely.
all
We
right,
love Linda. We
if you're
love Coach Sill.
watching this on the replay, let us know in the comment section which one you prefer in round one, Palantir or Jeff. Frankie, round two. You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
Listen, I'm going to go first because I got to look at this Weatherford that we were talking about earlier today.
You did
In
make an audible.
I did. Well, this is one I've been tracking this reversal for what
Oh
seems
yeah,
like a long time.
we've talked about Weatherford before.
Talked about him a lot, but every time, like, okay, is it time? There's always been a moving average or a level of resistance that was just too close for me to feel comfortable with. In hindsight, I didn't need to worry about any of it, but at the time I was like, yeah, just too close to this, too close to that. I don't have a big enough window to work with. Well, we're about through all of that. We got this nice little pullback, and when you first look at the pullback, think, okay, just kind of over today's high. I don't think so. That's too aggressive for me. I think you really have to come into the weekly chart once again to get the story here on Weatherford, because we are right at that last level. That is right where that 200 on the weekly time frame is. That
The high
breakout
of last week.
coincides really, really, really nice. So I'm not trying to front run this. I don't think you play the pullback. If you want to pull back in energy, you got some options out there. For sure, there are definitely some interesting looks.
Well, we did a little bit of a scanning deep dive with the team
Yeah,
in Traders Lounge
and
today.
they did, yeah, and all they really did was
Found
end
some
up
of the
looking
best
better
ones.
by the end of the day, right? So I don't think this would be the one I'm trying to front run, but I'm pretty strict, right? I just assume that these long term or these moving averages in general are going to act as levels of resistance. They got to prove it to me that I'm wrong, and they've done that to their credit as of late. I don't really feel too bad about it, but now I'm at that last level. If we can break that, and I think ideally, if I could paint the picture that I wanted, this would happen next week and not Thursday, but it'll do what it wants
Listen,
it to do,
I'll tell
not
you,
I
some
want it to
people
do.
might not know what you just did. I know exactly what you just did. Frank and I have a pretty good track record on calling for one more week of consolidation before a breakout, because what it does is it aligns those moving averages.
Yep.
That's what preceded the entire discussion on United Health before this week's move here,
Yeah.
Frankie.
It was 2 weeks
Okay.
of that, basically,
You and
right?
I were debating United Health last week, just last week, before we got into Trade Masters, because I was thinking about putting United Health as my Trade Masters pick. And I said to Frankie, I'm like, what do you think? And Frankie says, oh man, like that's beautiful, but like, could you imagine if it's just like by the end of this week? Like just give
Yeah.
us just on the weekly, just give us that close. And that's why I made it my rapid fire pick in the newsletter this past weekend, is because that weekly close. Look at that moving average
Yep.
converge down there, and then you break. And then when you have any momentum to the top side, there's not a terrible, horrible, horrific algorithm on the 20 period SMA
Yeah.
that's going to stop that
That's going
type
to
of
get in
price
your way,
projection.
right?
So,
Yeah.
when you say that about Weatherford here, WFRD, pay attention. Like if this consolidates even going into next week and you start, that looks even better. Continue. I'm sorry for
Yeah,
jumping
no,
on.
no, you're spot on,
Continue.
but it's so true, right? We kind of talked about it with CC a few weeks back, right, from a daily perspective, but
Yeah.
nothing like time to let things coil up a little bit and get that breakout really to give you that nice initial pop, right? And who doesn't love to start with the
I love
nice
that word
initial pop?
coil when it
Because
comes to technical
I
analysis
do
too.
too. And well, if you get a nice pop right out of the gates, that puts you in a position where you can do a scale if that's your style, pull your stop to break even, or at least get a large chunk of the risk off right out of the
Yeah.
gates and kind of open it up a little bit, right? So it doesn't always play out that way, of course, but that is kind of the ideal scenario. Here on Weatherford, Maddie, I mean, you can target. I mean, if I thought you could target, position wise, old Jeff, I think you can do the same thing here with Weatherford. You are getting into basically a lot of clear air. So I don't think you have to have, well, I think every trader needs to have a target in mind. But I think that target in this particular case is fairly dealer's choice based off of you, to be quite honest with you. You are going to run in to a little bit again in that 70 level, right? That you kind of looked at was that old floor, that old
Yeah, I was
resistance
looking.
level. So that's kind of a level. I
Is
don't
this
think
one
that's,
you manage through stop loss placement though?
I think so.
Is this
I
one
think
where you
so
have kind of a
because
loose target in mind, but you're really trailing stop loss?
yes, yes. And
Yeah.
I do think it's important that you have those targets because it's, you want to make sure that you're comfortable with the risk to reward. You want to make sure that you're enacting your trading plan, right? Whatever that might look like
Well, and
specifically
you
for
can only do
you.
that when you're in a true open air environment,
But
right?
yes, like if there was a ton of resistance at 75, it'd be like, well, let's
No, we're
target the
talking
75.
75.
I
Yeah.
see it as a really open until basically that monthly chart that you were looking at, that 20 that was on the monthly, which is where that thing was way the heck up there. I don't remember the exact number, but it is a
It
long,
was so far up, it was not part of the
it was
conversation.
not part of the conversation. So if you just want to, do ATR targets, if you want to do whole number targets, I really think it is kind of dealer's choice because if you're trading
I
something
kind
like
of
a
feel like
Weatherford,
position
and
style stop loss management here.
yeah, I mean, basically, I would love nothing more. It takes the time off this week, it breaks next week, get an initial pop that allows that stop to get to break even quickly and just let her rip and see where it wants to go type of deal. We'll see if that's
Yeah.
the way that it plays out. I do think it's important for whether it happens next week or tomorrow. I do think it's important to get through those moving averages. I will also say that a close above those moving averages on that weekly time frame is going to be, in my mind, a much stronger signal than just sticking your nose above them next week. I don't need to be first. I don't plan to be first, right? I
Mhm.
really am comfortable with somebody else fighting that last battle, and they've done a good job fighting it. So I'm cheering for them. Well, I'm
Yeah.
comfortable letting them do that because I got a ton of open air. I'm very interested in the energy space as a whole.
I
This
am
has
as
been a
well.
great reversal. You just got a ton of room to the upside here. So if I
So
had to say
because you
something
have
again,
such a room to the upside, I think it pays to be patient on the breakout scenario.
I would agree with that 100%. It's
Yeah.
not like this is a tight window. Sometimes it's a tight window, or sometimes
And
it's a
you
pure
got to
momentum.
go.
Yeah, and sometimes it's
Right.
pure momentum, right? So,
Yeah.
oh, it goes above today's candle. You're bouncing off the nine.
Can I give you an
Go or
example
don't.
of that?
Yeah, of
Today,
course.
tight window. I was talking to a bunch of day traders today, and we were looking at the ES in the moment, Frankie. And I was looking at the range on the ES on basically the drop from, let me get to the right time frame there. There we go. So right here, okay, you see how it breaks this
Yep.
right here? I said, okay, if it breaks 530, okay, which was the trigger, it's only going to go to 522. Made the statement, boom, it's only going to go to 522. And if anybody read the newsletter, they will know exactly why I said 522 because I
Yeah,
said
it's not the first time you said
523
that.
was a major support level on the intraday chart. Well, guess what? Scream down to 522. If you have that size of a window, you don't have the ability to wait for confirmation.
No, if you're going to try to,
You
yeah,
have to go, like, because if you give up 2 3 points to the downside and you're not getting 522, but say you get 524, it's not worth it from a reward to risk ratio. And so that's what we're talking about with Weatherford a little bit. I just had an example because it was fresh in my mind,
yeah.
and made me want to pitch the day trading class that I'm teaching in
Oh
the
yeah, it's
coach
been awesome.
too.
Part
That's
two last night, part three coming up next week. So just
yeah.
another benefit of being a pro member,
But
which of
but
course
on
you can.
Weatherford, if you're anchoring against that 200 grandmama on the day on the weekly chart, and you're saying, okay, I'm going to wait for it to get above that number, like, you have patience. You can be very patient here and waiting for that to happen because you don't have a short porch here, right?
No,
There's
you
some
got
distance there. It looks
you
pretty
got
good. That's why the concept of open air is so vitally important to understand as technicians.
Yep.
It tells you how aggressive you want to be on entry. It tells you how aggressive you want to be on target. It tells you how aggressive you want to be on stop loss. That open air concept is a very, very, very important concept. Love your pick here on Weatherford. No doubt about that. All right. I thought about throwing a wrench into the analysis here, but I'm going to stick with my original plan.
Okay. Go
And I'm going
fire.
to go with win, WYNN. Here's
Ooh, I
here's what
like
I
what you're
like
doing
about it.
here. I
Pure
like what you're
swing
doing.
trade. Pure swing trade here, Frankie. There's no position analysis. There's no investor analysis. This is late stage trend, pure swing trade. And what I like about it here is this is what is called the flag based pattern. Okay. Nice little trend here. Obviously, nice trend in general. Now you're dealing with a little bit of a pullback. Now, remember when we talked about the depth of the retracement here, Frankie?
I do
Well,
remember that.
part of that aspect of the depth of the retracement is understanding the zones in that retracement. Well, the 23% zone is known as a momentum support zone. And when I say it's known as one, it's how I teach it. It's known
Yeah.
as a momentum support zone. It works in conjunction with the 9 EMA as a really strong level of support that you can treat as a flag based pattern from a pure technical perspective. And when you're dealing with flag based patterns, and I kind of feel like the daily chart doesn't do it justice when you're talking about the quality of the pattern here, because when you look at the quality of a flag based pattern, you really want to go to your intraday time frame of choice.
Yep.
It's a momentum trend. It's a momentum pattern. You want to be aggressive in those environments. And so I talked about this yesterday in the day trading class last night, but I was talking about how you even as a swing trader, you want to perfect your longer term horizon as the day trader to your shorter term horizon as a swing trader, which is the 1 hour chart for me. So the 1 hour chart is that trending day trading time zone. It's that shorter time zone in swing trading. It's such a good time zone to work with.
Yep.
Well, Frankie, when you're looking at that 1 hour time zone here, not time zone, time frame here, you got this nice flag trend right there.
Very
And
clean.
you can kind of see how the highs of the day always equate to that trend line. Well, if you're trading a flag and you're talking about entry, where does the entry have to be? Is it inside pattern or is it when it goes outside pattern? It's when it breaks the pattern. And you can be aggressive here from an entry. The ultra aggressive trader just simply puts their order in above the high of today because he equates to the trend line on the flag as well. The more conservative trader will say, well, I want to see a little bit more here. And they're going to wait for the flag to get breached on the second level, which is right around 124.50. Now, the ultimate question, how you want to enter, goes into the concept of confirmation. How do you want to apply confirmation techniques? Do you need, and only the trader can answer that. I can't
Okay.
answer that for you. You have to answer that.
Yep.
As a trader, do you need to see confirmation? For me, Frankie, I do need to see confirmation here. That's not always the case on the flag. It is always the case on a king's bed for me. Like it has to
Yeah.
confirm.
Agreed.
But there's three types of confirmation. You have simple confirmation, you have standard confirmation, you have king's bed confirmation in the depth of the pullback. In a flag, you can go simple, which is just get the order in above the high to get into the trade when it achieves that number. The reason I don't like simple confirmation here, but I like standard confirmation, which is a close above the trend line on the 30-minute or the hourly chart here, is because of the CPI report. I
Yeah.
expect sensitive volatility tomorrow based on the CPI report. I want to see that report first to see how the market navigates that response. And you don't have to go too far to understand what I'm talking about. Today, earlier today, if you had aggressive orders in the market to get triggered in front of or after the release of the PPI report, you're probably a little bit unhappy when the market came right back down when it wasn't ready for prime time. And so, because the market is so sensitive in its patterns right now, and I'm not just talking about the EES, but because we're fighting breakout analysis
Yeah.
on
It's all over
every
the
single
place. Yeah.
index
It's
right
all over the
now.
place.
Exactly. And I wouldn't be shocked if we're breaking out of these levels tomorrow. I still want to see it, Frankie. And so when you're coming back to that entry, and again, that's just dealer's choice. Just wanted to kind of
Yeah.
provide a
Makes
little
perfect
bit of my
sense though. Right.
logic here. but I'm willing to pay a little bit more, for example. So if you miss that trigger here, I still think it's a good trigger above 125, right? I still think even if you can't get your perfect number, it's still going to be a good trigger in my estimation. Now, stop loss here, any trigger that happens underneath 125, you're just going to play the low point here.
Yeah.
You just want to play the low point, and give the totality of the pattern an ability to work out here, Frankie. A lot of times I see a lot of traders make mistakes where they're aggressive on their entry here. They lock a stop loss right underneath that, and they can't withstand any volatility whatsoever.
Yep.
They tick in, come right back down and tick out. And they're like, oh, the market's completely against me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you should have got stopped out. Like those are intraday day trading zones, and you put a aggressive day trading stop loss on a flag based swing trade. Like,
Yeah.
you're kind of mixing apples, and it's like water and oil, right? It's apples and oranges. They're two different
Yep.
completely
Not the
things.
same thing. Yep.
And so I like a stop loss underneath the pivot at 120. Now, final thing is from a targeting methodology perspective. I don't think you can be too aggressive in targeting. Now, in Palantir, it was easy to target the previous high because you had a deeper pullback.
Yeah. A lot of
In
room
a
between here and there.
flag, you don't necessarily have to target the previous high because it's a momentum environment. You expect that to get breached. You are not making this trade if you think the final conclusion is 127. That is
Nope.
not happening. You do not have a positive reward to risk ratio. And so in a flag, you target above that level, obviously. Now, I feel like in totality of targeting methodology, I feel like you got to look at the history here. And the reason I feel like you got to look at the history here is wins not at an all-time high. You don't have to do some complex Fibonacci projection tool here. You can look at the history of the analysis to find levels that are important to the analysis. And when you look at the history, I kind of feel 132 right here, Frankie. I kind of feel 132 right here has some evidence here as working as resistance. You got multiple major pivots over the last few years at 132. You then open it up a little bit and you start getting choppy right around the 140 level. And so historically, you got some pivots around the 132 level and you got some pivots around the 140 level. Those would be the two targets. I don't necessarily have a real target here because if you get one at 32, I feel that's a really good trade. But it's going to be based on the momentum going into 132. So Palantir is my first round pick. Win Resorts on a flag based pattern is my second. What's your thoughts?
Listen, I like them both. I find it interesting that you had two retracements. I had two breakouts. Not surprising by any stretch of the imagination.
Mhm.
Just interesting. But I think all of these, both your win and Palantir were on my short list. So
Yeah.
yeah, I clearly like them. I think
Well, you're the
both of those
breakout king. I
pullbacks.
have to offset your breakout analysis with some pullbacks here,
There you
buddy.
go. I like it. Well, there's room in my heart for both, and I think most
We don't
traders
discriminate against
would agree.
technical patterns.
No, just like a clean pattern with good risk to reward,
Maybe a
and
little bit symmetrical triangles.
yeah, you just haven't quite got to know them yet. You just you, you
I just need
you
to get to know the
you
symmetrical
just need to get
triangle.
to know them just a little bit better. Spend a little bit more
I
time.
think I
But
have got. I think I did know them, and they didn't treat me very well.
I think that
I,
might be the case,
are
right?
you trying to say it's a me problem?
Uh, maybe it's
Maybe a
half
little
you.
bit.
It's
Maybe a
half
little
you,
bit.
right? It's
Maybe
half.
a little bit.
Symmetrical triangles are tough though from a
All right,
entry
Frankie.
perspective for sure.
We
So
we like to do this in Trade Masters. In round one, after the totality of the evidence between Jeff and Palantir, who do you like the most?
I like Jeff the most.
I I figured.
I
I
mean, I
figured this
do
is a
like
great.
Palantir, but I like Jeff
And
the
I would
most.
still stay with my Palantir, but like I like Jeff too. Jeff is on my short list too.
Yeah, sometimes you can
Um,
have a change of heart though, right?
oh,
So
we do it all the time. And then the second one was Win, and Win was on the flag based pattern. Okay. And your symbol was again on top of my head, I forgot it.
WFRD, Weatherford.
Oh, yeah, Weatherford, WFRD. So we got Win on the flag versus Weatherford on the what we would call a mid tier breakout. Now, would you stick with Weatherford or do you like the win trade? Now,
This one's a
obviously,
little different because I think, whereas I might have to choose on an entry tomorrow morning on Jeff and
you don't
Palantir,
have to choose that
I
on
don't feel
Weatherford.
like I need to choose that in this
Might,
particular
but
case. So I feel like I can go with win if I get that upward movement in price and I get that
I
confirmation
see your cheating
and
ways in agreeing
wait
with me.
for this to break through that level, which I would expect is a tough battle to do. So I think I can cheat on this one. But if I had to say, it's just the stages where we are in the stage of the reversal on Weatherford. I would still have to pick
If
them,
Weatherford
but
gets above 65.50, it's an open season. It's one of the better looking energy plays, honestly.
it
Yeah,
stands out in the
yeah.
energy space.
I
So
can't say a negative word about it.
I,
There was like 5 or 6 energy plays when we did our deep dive that looked pretty good. But I'm gonna stick with win. Like I just like the pure swing trade on win. And honestly, it's kind of the same thing you said. Like with Weatherford, I kind of feel like the break and not the pullback here. I wouldn't even label it a pullback, by the way.
no, I
Um,
wouldn't. Yeah,
I think it's just more consolidation than anything.
I would
But
agree.
if we're talking about a breakout going into next week, kind of like on exactly similar to what we were talking about with United Health last Wednesday. If you can get a couple more days of development and that couple days is at the top end of that 65 level on Weatherford, yeah, it's on the report. It's on the report.
Yeah,
Team. Let us know in the chat. And if you're
yeah,
watching it on the replay, let us know in the comments section on round 2.
yeah,
Which trade do
absolutely.
you
Which one do
prefer?
you like? And
Like the
ultimately, who's your favorite? Right, of all four, who's your favorite? Well, Maddie, is always my friend. Always enjoy hanging out, talking, trading with you and the team. I always look forward to Wednesday afternoons because I get to hang out with some of my favorite people and talk about one of my favorite things in the world to talk about, which is charts. So it was awesome being with you and being with the team. Just a quick reminder to the team, and I'll give you final word, Maddie. If you are interested, I will get the scans from our prep work into the new trader chat over in Discord here when we're done with the show. So just head over to Discord and you can get that if you would like to do so. If you are a pro member, I know you're going to be in that Master Trader course because I know how excited everybody is about Master Trader as a general rule. And I really know how excited they are about the mystery of night 2 with it being more technical analysis, Maddie. So we're all looking very much forward to that, bro. We all know you're going to bring it. And if you're not a pro member, never a better time than today. Get over to Tackle Trading, sign up for a free 15-day
I'm
trial. You
feeling the
can't.
pressure of putting on the greatest
Oh,
day
there's no
2
pressure at
of Master Trader
all.
of all
No
time. Like
pressure
I'm
at
starting to
all.
feel the heat here, Frankie. I'm starting to feel like I got to bring like Michael Jordan 1997 flu game. Like I feel like I got to
You got
bring
to bring
that
it.
level
Listen,
of
you
intensity.
do. You got to bring it, bro. You do. Now
Yeah.
we all believe that you're gonna. So know that the team has full faith and confidence that you are going
Yeah.
to deliver. But yeah, I could see it. Like you built
I will
you've built
just
it up.
say this. If you love technical analysis or you want to learn how to read charts like a technical banshee, get into Master Trader this week, become
No
a
better
pro
place to
member of
start.
Tackle Trading, and you'll never look back. It's going to be a fun ride, and Master Trader is going to be an amazing show. And but more than anything, just my final thoughts, really, really, really simple. I just hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. More than anything, just everybody have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and hug your kids a little bit today. Tell them you love them. I know I am.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, Maddie. Thank you, team. We'll be back same time and channel here for Trade Masters next week. Of course, we'll be live tomorrow morning over for our pro members in Discord for the lounge. If you need anything, never hesitate to reach out to us via email at team@tackletraining.com or directly over in Discord. Get out of here, team. Have a wonderful Wednesday afternoon, and we will see you later.
Love you, Tim. Later.